Hello everyone. Today we will understand the reproduction and the growth in this session. So reproduction and growth in humans and plants we will see in this session. This is essential for the survival of a species and this lets the life continues on earth. So what is the in this chapter we will explain. We will learn about human reproduction, plant reproduction and the growth stages. All right? What's the importance of reproduction? That maintains the species population, that ensures the diversity and connect the generations. Now what are the types of reproduction? First is sexual reproduction that needs two parents. Asexual reproduction need only one parent and both produce the offsprings. What is the life cycle concept now? Stages from birth to reproduction, growth and development phases, then the importance for species survival. Next we will talk about the human reproduction introduction. Humans reproduce sexually. So male and female reproductive systems we will talk about here and the offsprings inherit the traits. Next is the male reproductive system. Testes produces the sperm. Vas deferens transports the sperm and penis delivers the sperm. Now the female reproductive system. Ovaries produce eggs and fallopian tube is the site of fertilization. So uterus nurtures embryo. Alright. Now we will talk about the gametes. What is male gamete? Is a sperm. Female gamete is an egg and they carry genetic material. Now we talk about fertilization. So the sperm meets the egg that occurs in fallopian tube and they forms a zygote. Understand? Now zygote formation, how does it happen? Single cell embryo begins cell division, then develops into multicellular embryo. Now we will see here the early embryonic development. First week the zygote divides, forms blastocyst. Next implants in the uterus. Okay, so the first month development, major organs begin forming, heart and brain start. So embryo start growing rapidly. Fetal development. So the organs mature in this stage. Growth continues in womb and prepares for the birth. Now we will talk about the birth process. The labor begins and the baby delivered through birth canal. Placenta expelled. Okay. What does mean puberty here? Body undergoes physical changes. So secondary sexual characteristics appear here. So the body prepares for reproduction here. What are hormones in reproduction? Testosterone in males and estrogen and progesterone in females. Regulate reproductive functions. Alright. Now what is menstrual cycle? The monthly cycle in females. When egg released from ovary and the uterus prepares for implantation. Contraception that prevents the pregnancy. So methods here, pills, condoms, IUDs, and that ensures the reproductive control. Now we will understand the summary of human reproduction. So we talk about male and female systems, then we talk about fertilization and development, then we understood the birth and puberty, right? Now we will talk about the plant reproduction system. So what happens here? The plants reproduce sexually and asexually. They produce seeds or clones. So life cycle continues. Now let's see the photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the process by which grain plants make their own food. So it uses sunlight, carbon dioxide and water to produce glucose. So now oxygen is released as a byproduct of this process. Now we will talk about transpiration. Transpiration is the loss of water in the form of water vapor from plant leaves. So water absorbed by roots moves upward through xylem to the leaves and this process helps in cooling the plant and transporting the minerals. Alright. Now types of plant reproduction. Sexual is flowers and seeds. Asexual, cuttings and tubers. So both produces offsprings. Now the sexual reproduction in plants that involves the flowers. Male part is a stamen and the female part is pistil. Okay. Parts of flower, sepals protect the bud and petals attract pollinators. So reproductive organs are inside. What is pollination now? The transfer of pollen Self-pollination, same flower. Cross-pollination is different flower. Now what happens in the fertilization in plants? Pollen fertilizes ovule that forms the zygote and develops into the seed. Alright, now what is seed formation? Ovule becomes seed. Now seed contains embryo and surrounded by seed coat. Okay. Now what is seed dispersal? Wind, water, animals spread the seeds. So this ensures colonization of new areas, prevents the competition. Germination, what is it about? Seed sprouts into seedling that requires water, oxygen and warmth, and the growth starts from here. Asexual reproduction in plants, no gametes needed here, that produces clones. So the methods are runners and tubers. Vegetative propagation, what it is? Stem, root, leaf parts used here that produces new plant, for example the potato tubers. How does happen cloning in plants? It is a micropropagation in labs that produces identical plants and also that is useful in the agriculture. Now what is the life cycle of a flowering plant? First a seed, then become a seedling, then a mature plant. Flowers form pollination, then seeds, and this cycle is repeating cycle, right? Now we take a look of the summary of plant reproduction. Sexual and asexual reproduction, fertilization and seed formation, and life cycle is importance. Now what is the interesting plant fact here? Some plants reproduce in days also. Rapid growth ensures the survival, so the nature is efficient. Now we will see the definition of growth. What is growth? Increase in size and mass, includes the cell division and includes the differentiation. Types of growth. How many types of growth happens? Cell division, that increases number. Cell enlargement, that increases the size. And differentiation. Cells specialize. Now how the growth happens in humans? Infancy, then childhood, then adolescence, then adulthood. The growth hormones regulates and physical and mental development. How the growth happens in plants? Primary growth is height, secondary growth is the thickness that occurs in meristem. Now the factors affecting the growth. What are the factors that affect the growth? Nutrition, hormones and environment. What is maturation? That reaches reproductive age, sexual maturity achieved and ready for reproduction. That is maturation. Now see aging and senescence. That is a gradual decline in growth and cells lose function and leads to death. Humans versus plant growth. In humans, limited growth period. In plants, continuous growth, and then both affected by the environment. Now the importance of growth. Why the growth is important? That ensures the survival, prepares for reproduction and maintains the ecosystem balance. What the conclusion we get? Humans and plants reproduce to continue species and the growth is essential for life and reproduction. So nutrition, hormones and environment influence the growth. Alright? Okay, see you in the next session.